A roaring sound echoed, the earth rumbled, and a black plume of smoke plunged the surroundings into darkness. Greetings everyone, I'm Chris. Today we'll unravel the mystery of Pompeii, a city that met its tragic end due to the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. We'll explore the events leading up to that fateful day, the records that captured the horror, and the modern discoveries that brought Pompeii back to life. If you find this video interesting, please support us by hitting the like button. Now let's get started. Within hours, nearly 12 feet of volcanic ash covered the city. 2,000 years ago in Italy, a volcanic eruption occurred. It was the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, widely known for its devastating impact. On August 24, 79 AD at about 100 p.m. Mount Vesuvius, one of the active volcanoes in Europe, suddenly erupted into flames, and for the next day and night, a massive amount of volcanic bombs and ash fell on the city of Pompeii at the foot of the mountain. Ancient records hint at signs leading up to this catastrophic event. A major earthquake occurred in 62 AD. Pompeii and the surrounding areas were severely damaged in this region. Reconstruction began immediately, and the rebuilt city was even grander than before. Ironically, during the final reconstruction work, Mount Vesuvius erupted in a massive volcanic eruption. Volcanic gases overwhelmed the residents, and pyroclastic flows instantly covered the city of Pompeii. At a height of about 5.9 feet, the heavy, rain-laden ash that fell afterward also piled on top of it, some 5.9 feet high. The city of Pompeii was destroyed in a single night, engulfing not only the houses, but also those who remained in their homes and those who fled toward the coast. The town disappeared completely from the face of the earth, never to be rebuilt. The death toll from the eruption is estimated at about 2,000, and the passage of time has deposited nearly 6.6 feet of additional sediment on top of the volcanic ash. How was the eruption recorded? At the time, no records were kept at Pompeii, which was all buried. However, accurate records have since been published. Who recorded it, and how was it recorded and passed on to future generations? Actually, at the time of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, there was a man in Mesnum, a port town on a small peninsula west-northwest of Pompeii, who tried to keep records. Pliny the Younger, a man of letters and politics, was stationed there as commander of the Roman army. He witnessed the eruption alongside Pliny the Elder. He was a renowned scholar who wrote a 5-volume natural history of the eruption, and immediately led a fleet of ships across the Gulf of Naples to Stabia, south of Pompeii, to help the victims of the eruption. However, he collapsed and died from volcanic gases. Meanwhile, Pliny the Younger wrote a record of his observations to his acquaintance, the historian Cornelius Tacitus. According to the letters, after landing at Stabia, Pliny the Younger retreated to the coast in fear of a swarm of earthquakes, where he inhaled a strong volcanic gas and collapsed on the spot, where his body was recovered 3 days later. It is believed that he died of poisoning from volcanic toxic gases containing hydrogen sulfide and sulfur dioxide. Pliny the Younger also noted that during the eruption, a bolt of lightning tore through the sky, sending a plume thousands of feet above Mount Vesuvius, and that when the ejecta reached the sky, the top of the plume flattened. Pliny the Younger describes the plume as like a hatched pine tree, and describes how the plume rose high into the sky, all at once, followed by a pyroclastic flow. This confirms that the eruption occurred more than once. In other words, the people of Pompeii were instantly killed by a pyroclastic flow of over 300 degrees down the mountain at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. Incidentally, the term Pliny-style eruption in volcanology is derived from these observations by Pliny. Pompeii's path to prosperity and the Great Eruption. Mount Vesuvius, one of the active volcanoes in Europe, is located about 1.2 miles southeast of Naples, in the Campania region of Italy. Pompeii, located at the foot of Mount Vesuvius, was first inhabited by ancient Italic peoples. However, their remains have not yet been discovered. Later, around the 5th century BC, Etruscans and Greek colonists settled in the area, and the city of Pompeii developed. It became a hub of trade, exporting various agricultural products. wine, seafood, and its famous pumice stone, and it was greatly developed, with the construction of a temple to the Greek gods in the triangular square. At the end of the 5th century BC, the Samians progressed from the southern Apennines, and Pompeii came under their control, becoming a member of an alliance with the city-state of Nuceria as its namesake and maintaining a republican system. During this period, the area expanded and the city walls were strengthened. Around 310 BC, a Roman fleet landed in Pompeii, but was repulsed by the local population. However, this led to the rapid spread of Hellenistic Roman culture, and in the Punic Wars, a struggle for supremacy in the Mediterranean, Pompeii fell to Hannibal of Carthage, but later came under Roman rule. In the process of extending its rule to the Italian peninsula, Rome interfered in internal affairs by denying Roman citizenship and diplomatic rights to Italian cities and tribes, which led to the War of the Allied Cities in 5 BC, in which Italian citizens of the Commonwealth fought for full citizenship. And Pompeii was again pitted against Rome. In 15 BC, Pompeii was at war with Rome, and subsequently occupied by the Roman army, and in 3 BC, it became a Roman colony after receiving Roman citizenship. Pompeii then became a Roman colony and welcomed a large number of Romans and continued on its path of prosperity. 5 years later, however, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius closed the chapter of Pompeii's history. How were the city and people of Pompeii discovered? In 1592, on a hill near Pompeii known as La Civita, which translates to the city, architect Domenico Fontana discovered ancient buildings and paintings while excavating a canal. La Civita translates to the city in Italian, and legend has it that a prosperous town once stood on that hill. Fontana also found Roman coins and a marble slab engraved with the goddess Bombayana, but that was all at the time, and no further excavations were made. In the 1730s, farmers in the town of Ercolano were digging a well and discovered a marble column. Ercolano, similar to the main town, was established after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius that buried Herculaneum, and the first full-scale excavation began in 1738. The excavators, Austrians supported by the King of Naples at the time, were so absorbed in the excavation of art and jewelry that they paid no attention to the ruins, causing criticism from those around them. Finally, the Pope protested and the excavation was halted. Later, King Carlo of Naples, who later became King Carlos III of Spain, resumed excavations, and in 1748 began excavating not only Ercolano, but also the main body of Pompeii. Full-scale excavations for the purpose of academic research were carried out in 1860 by the archaeologist Giuseppe Fiore. Fiore divided the site into 9 sections, a method that is still used today, and then proceeded to further subdivide the excavation, which allowed him to excavate almost 3/5 to 3/4 of the town at that time. Plaster casting method that surprised the world. Another of Fiore's achievements was the innovative plaster molding method, inspired by ancient techniques. As volcanic ash blanketed Pompeii, it was accompanied by rain. This combination encased the bodies of those killed by the pyroclastic flow in a clay-like layer. After many years, the bodies were bleached, and the hardened volcanic ash created cavities for the dolls. By injecting plaster into the cavities, it was possible to extract the casts in their hardened state. The remains we see at the ruins today were recreated using this method. The images of people who lost their lives in an instant due to the pyroclastic flow vividly convey the horror of the eruption, and one can almost hear their final screams. How did people live in the pleasure town of Pompeii? After excavation, the city center of Pompeii was found, just as it had awakened from its long sleep of 1800 years. The city walls stand firm with distinct living rooms, water supply facilities, dining areas, and courtyards. Visitors to the site will feel as if they have been transported back in time to Pompeii before the eruption. Surrounded by walls built in the time of the Samians, the city is neatly laid out, with the old town centered around the public square, and the new town outside of it. The old town is planned in a grid pattern, and mosaic paintings are displayed on the many remaining houses within the city walls. The mosaic paintings in the numerous residences within the walls reveal the daily life of the citizens of Pompeii, who lived a very affluent lifestyle. The surgeon's house, built in the 4th century BC, and named for the discovery of medical instruments found within it, features a courtyard with a water basin, exemplifying an early architectural style. Meanwhile, the House of Fano, constructed in the 2nd century BC, displays elements influenced by Greek and Hellenistic culture. In addition, the designs on the wall decorations, known as the Ancient Picture Gallery, provide a vivid picture of the daily lives of the citizens of Pompeii, including the diet and fashions of the time. The ruins of Pompeii reveal that the citizens of Pompeii at that time led a truly elegant life. The square was lined with stores, restaurants, and taverns where the citizens of Pompeii enjoyed their famous wine. Except for electricity and other infrastructure, there is not much that differs from the streets of today's Italian Old Town. With 5 public bathhouses in the city, it appears that many residents would complete their morning tasks and then relax in these bathhouses during the afternoon. The city boasted theaters for plays and music, amphitheaters where gladiatorial combats took place, and venues where humans faced off against wild beasts. Pompeii was a paradise where citizens enjoyed life. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. Take care and see you in the next video. Goodbye!